Have a look at this sketch. There is a round neckline in this dress. I think that the round neckline can make any garment look amazing. Let's have a close look at the sketch. The design is pretty simple. The waist seam, the body is made on the basis of the 10 measurement cutting system, chest darts, waist tucks, sleeves, and a flare skirt with pleats. This is going to be a floor-length dress. I'm also going to make a pretty wide overcast. This is going to be a double overcast. It will be 10 centimeters wide, so I'm basically going to fold 20 centimeters. 10 centimeters twice. There will be 3 layers of fabric on the bottom. It will add some weight to the skirt. The dress will be lined. There will be a zipper inserted in the back or in the side seam. I'm not sure yet. It might even be better to insert a zipper in the side seam. I've shown you the design. I hope that everything is clear so far. Next, I'm going to show you the fabric I'll be making the dress of. I chose this silk for the skirt. It's pretty strong. This is not just silk, it's silk taffeta. I remind you that the skirt is going to be pleated. The bodice will be made of silk. Have a close look at it. This is how the dress is going to look like. The fabric is quite expensive. This is a jacquard silk. I love it. Have a close look at the fabric. There are golden threads in it. What I want you to understand is that even if you have an opportunity to buy expensive fabric, which is beautiful, there is no need to make the whole gamut of it. It might be too much. I'm going to make just the bodice and the sleeves of this fabric. I'm going to use 85 centimeters of this fabric for bodice and the sleeves. You can also make sleeves of chiffon. Then 50 centimeters will be enough for the bodice. The bodice is going to be multicolored and the skirt single-colored. I love this combination of fabrics. Let's have a look at the pattern. The front, the back and the sleeve. As usual. The design is pretty simple. I'm going to decorate this dress with a wide waistband with corset bones and the draping on the top. I think such waistband would make this dress even more stylish. I'm going to wear this dress for the very special occasions. I'm sure that I would look like a queen wearing it. The waistband is going to be pretty complicated. Have a look at the pattern. These are the back and the front. The front is wider than the back. I need to join the center front and the center back. Measure this distance, the difference between them. The front is 5 centimeters wider than the back. That means that I need to add 2.5 centimeters to the back. I'm doing it because I want the side seams in the bodice and the skirt to match. To do that, the side seam should be placed on the same distance from the center back and the center front. It will also allow me making the back and the front of the skirt identical. There will be no need for me to make two separate patterns. The cut detail should be attached here. The detail should be attached this way. I know that the dress seems pretty simple, but there are some details you should pay attention to. Have a close look at this side. It should be altered. I need to close these openings. Next, I need to check if the details are accurate. This is the back. I've made it wider. And this is the front. They're of the same width now. The side seams are going to be placed right in the center of the pattern, on the same distance both from the center back and the center front. It's very convenient. The side seams in the upper and the lower parts of the dress will match. Let's continue working with the pattern. I need to move the opening of the chest dart to the side seam, as it's shown in the sketch. Such simple design is perfect for such luxurious fabrics. Your dress would look gorgeous. It's better not to choose any complicated designs for such fabrics. I need to close the original opening and move it to the side seam. The dart should be slightly biased. Do not forget to alter the shoulder. It should be accurate. Next, I need to move the opening of the shoulder dart to the back neckline. I think that the dress would look better in this case. When I make the back neckline deeper, the dart will become shorter. There are no darts in the shoulders anymore. It will be much more convenient to work with them this way. I haven't done much yet. I made the back wider, the front tighter, and moved the openings of the shoulder darts. Let's have a look at the neckline. I want the front neckline to be pretty deep. Always check if the shoulders are accurate. They are now.
Нет, давайте 5,5.
I want to make the shoulders 5.5 centimeters
Я
tighter.
уже определилась, что от начала плечевого шва, то есть
Be very attentive.
я открываю свое платье.
I'm going to cut 5.5 centimeters from the shoulders.
Вот здесь сколько я ж открываю. Ну, я
What about the front neckline?
так попробую.
I think I'll make it about 11 centimeters deep.
Не сильно глубоко. Вот.
This is not a deep neckline.
Просто если я возьму
I'll cut 11 centimeters and then decide if I want to cut more.
10 раз подрезать, начну с 11, а там посмотрю.
I need to measure and mark 11 centimeters here and then draw a beautiful round neckline. If I make the neckline deeper, it wouldn't look that good. It wouldn't be round.
Он уже будет у меня
I think that 11 centimeters is perfect.
глубину вырезанный. Ну, я вот
I also want to make the back.
от точки 5,5
I also want to make the back neckline a bit deeper,
по центру
by 2.5 centimeters.
2,5 сантиметра.
I can cut the details now.
Выкроечка
The necklines are ready.
Все готово, выреза готовы.
This is how the patterns look like now.
Я хочу углубить пройму.
Next, I want to make the armhole about 1.5 centimeters deeper.
На глаз углубляю.
I'll do it by side.
Видите, да? Только нижнюю часть я
Be very attentive.
Ничего нельзя.
Notice that I'm cutting just the lower part of the armhole. This is very important.
Кроить платье.
The pattern for the bodice is ready.
Смотрела,
Have a close look at the pattern once again.
от плеча до низа.
In my case, the length of the front down from the shoulder to the waist seam is 52 centimeters.
Ну да, у меня получается, я немножко прибавляла к линии.
The waist seam is going to be placed right where I want it to be.
Но я боюсь. Я боюсь.
In order for me to be sure that I'm not making mistakes,
Еще сантиметрик буду лишний,
I'll add 2 centimeters for the
потому
ease.
что я уже имею такой опыт, что это нужно быть очень аккуратным. И я здесь не
I need to be very careful because the fabric is very expensive. I'm adding 2 centimeters to the bottom.
немножечко я тут.
I pinned the pattern in order to fix it. The silk is slippery. I need to be very careful and make sure that I don't move it when cutting.
Каждый миллиметр. Начинаю вырезать. Посмотрите, как я аккуратно приколола. Много
When I cut the details, I'll ask one of the tailors of my fashion house to tack them.
взяла. Сейчас отдам девочкам сметывать.
The seam allowance on the neckline is 7 millimeters. 1 centimeter on the shoulder and the side seam. 7 millimeters in the armhole.
Очень удобно.
It's very convenient to cut 1 centimeter wide seams.
Сантиметр.
It's also very convenient to work with the bodies
Слив.
when the front and the back are of the same width.
Имейте вот тут всегда
I've made a bigger seam allowance on the bottom.
полость
I recommend you doing it as well.
вырезана.
The front is ready.
Спиночка.
Next, I need to cut the back.
Я очень
Of course, it's more convenient to work if you have an opportunity to walk around the table when cutting the details.
А нужно
I
стоять
can't do it
через
because of the
пол.
cameras.
Это очень не очень. Ну, я,
Do
конечно,
not be afraid of cutting
боюсь
silk.
кроить.
Just
Ну,
fix
как
the
бы
fabric
кроить, вот
and the
ничего
patterns
не
properly.
будет кроить. Я, конечно, не крою вот здесь.
The dress is not going to be close-fitting on the waistline.
92, чтобы у меня был 92. У меня здесь, по-моему, сейчас скажу, сколько. У меня полочка, спинка одинаковые. У меня 24 сантиметра.
I'll tell you the waist measurement.
Будет 96.
96 centimeters. Perfect. My usual measurement is 92 centimeters. I'm cutting the bottom according to the drawn line.
Ножницы
Be very careful and attentive. Don't hurry.
ради красоты все терпим.
The back is also ready.
Спинка, полочка вырезана. Сейчас вырежу рукав. Уже
Next, I need to cut the sleeves.
ниточки. Вот у меня рукав.
Do not forget to mark the center sleeve.
Кто любит
If you like garments with loose sleeves, you can extend the sleeve head.
раздвиньте на сантиметр.
It's up to you.
Или здесь прибавьте побольше.
Make your sleeves
Я
comfortable.
рукав знаю. И в такое праздничное
Of course, in such stylish dresses,
рукав такой
sleeves should be neat.
широкий, должен
They
быть
shouldn't be wide.
очень рукавчик. Я все потерплю. Пусть мне будет
Beauty has its
удобно,
price.
но он должен быть очень аккуратным.
This is the center sleeve. This is the front side of the sleeve.
Все, две насечечки поставить.
Do not forget to make notches.
Вот наш рукавчик. Да. Полочка, спинка. Все у нас
The
хорошо.
front,
А вот
the
сейчас
back,
мы
and the sleeve are ready.
про нижнее полотнище юбки. Нижняя часть.
Let's have a look at the skirt.
Юбка может быть абсолютно любой. Может быть
It's up to you how to cut the skirt.
подолевой.
You can either cut it on a bias or on the lengthwise grain.
Клёша всего и
I'll cut it on the lengthwise grain
придавать низу вот такой
because I don't want to make it much flared.
вот. Надо выкраивать обтачку, но и я не
It's much harder to make wide overcast in a skirt cut on a bias.
юбка пусть будет такая пышненькая,
I would need to cut the facing in this case.
но прямая.
The skirt will be flared, but not too much.
Она может быть расклешённая, может быть
You can make a half circle or even a quarter circle skirt.
может быть четверть,
Get it on the waistline or not.
может быть слегка расклешённый низ и
Be
верх
creative.
тоже на сборку. Абсолютно любой вариант. Я хочу сказать,
I do not want you to sew exactly the same dresses as I show you. I show you the techniques, and I want you to be creative. I want you to learn to use your imagination.
Внимательно смотрите, чтобы у вас подобных вопросов не возникало. Передо мной сложная вдвое ткань. То есть
I'm going to show you how to cut the skirt on the lengthwise grain.
вдвое полотнище юбки будет вырезано.
The fabric is folded in half.
Сначала
The front and the back of the skirt will be
платье
identical.
у меня 95 сантиметров.
First, I need to cut the front.
Была вот, ну, приближённая.
The length of the skirt is 95 centimeters. I also need to add 20 centimeters for the overcast.
Вот 20.
I've drawn the bottom line, so I can cut the skirt now.
Выкладываю параллельно краям, рисую линию, и вот мое платье.
I've measured and marked the length of the garment, plus 20 centimeters for the overcast.
У меня ровный низ платья. А теперь поговорим о ширине.
What about the width?
Смотрим.
Have a close look here.
Ну, у
Have a
меня
look at the
здесь
waistline.
половина
The half
моего платья
is 48 centimeters,
а четверть 24.
so the quarter
Мне щас
is 24
надо вот
centimeters.
здесь вот как-то работать. У меня верх платья
These are the measurements I need to remember.
24 сантиметра. Но я эти 24 буду...
I also need to add some fabric for the pleats.
Сколько-то дальше, а вот эту часть оставлять на сборке. И вопрос о том, сколько мы хотим оставлять на сборке. Вот 24 сантиметра, и вот количество на сборке. Ну, я думаю...
It's actually up to you how much to add. You can add more or less. I'm going to add 20 centimeters to each side.
20 сантиметров, ну это я так решила 20.
I need to measure and mark 20 centimeters and then 24 centimeters.
Вот моя ширина моей юбки. Я немного
This is the quarter detail of the skirt.
выведу до бедра хотя бы, ну, чуть.
Next, I need to draw the line for the side seam.
Я вот рисую там 15 сантиметров. И эту линию, ну, чуть-чуть.
I make this line just slightly biased to the hip line and then draw a straight line to the bottom.
Вот это мое бедро. И от этой точки вниз я рисую ровную линию, параллельную краю.
I'm drawing a line parallel to the edge. I do not recommend you to flare such skirts much. It would be hard to overcast it. I've added 40 centimeters for the gather, both to the front and the back. I think that this will be enough.
Смотрите, что я делаю. Выравниваю вверх.
I need to make this edge straight as well. I'll cut 1 centimeter from it. Next, I need to cut the side seam. This line will fit the hips better. I remind you that the side seam is straight down from the hip level. Have a look here. I remind you that I've added 20 centimeters for the overcast. This is how the bottom will be overcast. The skirt is going to be 95 centimeters long. I've also added 40 centimeters for the pleats, both to the front and the back. I'm not going to tack the pleats now. I'll do it at the fitting. The back and the front of the skirt will be identical. I'll cut the back off the camera. I remind you that I made the back and the front bodice details of the same width. I've also added 20 centimeters for the overcast to the bottom. Here are 2 even pieces of fabric. These are the skirt details. I can move one of them aside. This is the bodice. We've already tacked the center back, the tucks, and the darts off the camera. The neckline is round. It looks just like I wanted it to. I can move the back bodice detail aside. First, I need to tack the front bodice detail to the skirt. To do that, first I need to mark the center front in the bodice. Make a notch here. I remind you that we've marked the center front in the skirt detail. Join the details face to face. You can make pleats first and then tack the details. I'm not going to do it. I'll show you what I'm going to do. First, I need to pin the center front to the center front. This is the first thing you need to do. I'll also tack about 4 or 5 centimeters on each side. I'll show you how to do it. I need to measure and mark 5 centimeters on each side. These are the parts which should be tacked. I don't want the pleats to be made on the side seams. This is the part where I'm going to make the pleats. I remind you that I've added some extra space for the waistline. I'm taking the details the way they are now. If I decide that the waistline is too low, I'll just tack the details once again. I don't like to waste time calculating anything. I prefer to work by sight. I'm much better at cutting and sewing than I am at drawing and calculating. I think that it's a waste of time. Remember that practice makes perfect. It's better to do something once than to hear about it twice. I recommend you buying a roll of the cheapest fabric for practicing. I show you a lot of useful techniques and details. First, I'm going to make a box pleat on the center front. I want it to be about 6 centimeters wide. Be very attentive. The pleat on the center back will be 6 centimeters wide. I need to measure and mark 6 centimeters on each side of the center front. I'm making the first pleat on the center front now. Be very attentive, please. Very nice. Next, I need to tack this part of the skirt to the bodice. This pleat is going to look very beautiful. I need to remove the tacking from the center front in order to tack the pleat accurately. It will be more convenient to do it this way. After taking the first pleat, I'll measure the rest of the extra fabric. When it's done, I'll decide how many pleats to make. I'll show you how to make one of the side pleats, and the second one will be made off the camera.
У меня
I
осталось...
need to measure how much fabric is left for the pleats.
Сейчас скажу, что осталось.
You can see that there is not much fabric left here.
Так и много. Смотрите, ну еще
I
сделаю...
think I'll make 2 more pleats on each side. I'll make 2 pleats 6.5 centimeters wide each.
Вот так вот. С каждой стороны.
There will be 2 pleats on each side of the center front.
И еще
I think that it will be enough.
и второй защип. Ну, мне кажется, больше мне и не надо. Посмотрите, я долго не парилась.
You can see that it doesn't take me long to decide what to do.
Защипы сильно к центру.
I don't want the pleats to be too close to the center front. I'll move them a bit.
У меня будет первый защип. Чи от центра у меня...
I think that the first one will look great here. 7 centimeters away from the center front.
сантиметров. А кто будет собирать на сбор?
The third one will be made 6.5 centimeters further.
Тянете свою юбку и
If you decide to gather the skirt instead of making the pleats,
добавляем свою
you won't waste time on making pleats. Just gather the skirt and take it to the bodice.
половиной от центра. Не хочу такую прямо сборку,
If the skirt turns out to be loose,
как-то
I can make it tighter.
будет узковато, то я что сделаю? Я не
I'll just make the side seams a bit bigger.
очень удобно забирать в боках, когда швы
This is why it's very convenient when the side seams of the bodice and the skirt go inside.
части платья. Вот смотрите, мы сделали второй защип 7, 6,5. А у меня
The third pleat will be made 6 centimeters away from the second one.
теперь, где ж мне его сделать? Ну, наверное, вот так же и сделаю. 7 сантиметров. Нет, я здесь...
The second pleat is made 7 centimeters away from the center one, and the next one 6.5 centimeters away.
Вот такой
The dress is going to be very interesting.
Я думаю, что
For
я
some special occasions,
будет интересным аксессуаром.
I'm sure that I'll find some matching accessories.
Платье на какую-нибудь
This dress is perfect for a wedding, for example.
свадьбу можно пойти. Сейчас посмотрим.
When I pin the pleats, I'll check if the details are accurate.
Развернем и
I need to have a close look at the wrong side of the details.
два защипа.
Absolutely perfect.
Это я уже могу
The details match.
могу приметывать вторую
This part can be tacked.
сантиметров.
I already know how to pin the second side. It won't be hard for me to do it.
Половину я уже приметила.
I can start taking now.
Обратите внимание, в реальной
You can see that it doesn't take long to pin and tack the details.
минуты. Ну, а, конечно,
After taking and feeding, we'll make all the necessary changes.
снять,
Detach the details,
внести изменения,
double them with lining,
разобрать,
and then sew the dress.
абсолютно точно по крою вырезать подкладку и отдавать в пошив. И,
If I don't like the pleats at the fitting,
покажу вам готовое изделие.
I will be able to change them into gathering.
Делаю. Одна половина
I've almost finished taking the first half of the dress.
минут. Отлично.
Have a look at the side seam.
Как хорошо, что вот это
I remind you that it's slightly round at the top.
вот такая вот.
It will make the skirt fit me perfectly.
Теперь мне с этой стороны
Next, I need to make the 2 pleats on the other side of the skirt. As I've said, you can make pleats for the fitting, try the dress on, and if you decide that you don't like the pleats,
делаю сборку. Поэтому эксперимент.
you can remove the taken and gather the skirt instead. I need to measure and mark 7 centimeters first. The width of the pleat is 6.5 centimeters. Very nice. And then I need to measure 6 centimeters more from this pleat. This one will be 6.5 centimeters wide as well.
Но имеется в виду по полочке последней. И сейчас мы уже увидим, что у нас получилось.
When I pin the pleats, I'll show you how the skirt is going to look like. If you are looking for a dress for some special occasions, this dress is the one you need. Don't think that you need to make garments of the complicated designs. It's not true. Interesting combination of the high-quality fabrics and simple design is enough. I love the way the pleats look like now. I think that I'll leave them. I think that I'm not going to change anything. It's very convenient to work with a garment when the front and the back knit are identical. There will be no need for me to measure or calculate anything when taking the back. I'll just make the same pleats. The details match perfectly. I've decided to insert a zipper in the side seam. You know that my body is pretty perfect, square, so it won't be hard for me to make the dress fit me. It's no problem for me to make the dress fit me perfectly in the waist. This is a problem of the girls who have slim waists. The front of the dress is ready. I can't wait to try the dress on. Next, I need to tack the back. It's not hard to do it. Mark the center back first. The first pleat is ready. Next, I need to measure 7 centimeters to the sides and make the second pleat. Perfect. The next pleat should be placed 6 centimeters further. The pleats are 6.5 centimeters wide. You can make as many pleats as you want. You can also pin them in any direction. Use your imagination. There's just one pleat to be made. As I've said, the pleats are 6.5 centimeters wide. You can see that it doesn't take me long to tack the back. I already know what to do. If the front and the back of the dress were different, it would have been much harder to tack it. I prefer fast and easy ways of work.
Осталось.
The only thing left for me to do is to tack the back detail of the skirt to the back detail of the bodice.
Сейчас за камерой я...
I'll do it off the camera.
Мы за камерой сметаем.
I'll also tack the side and the shoulder seams off the camera.
Как буду подгибать низ. Ну, примерно
When it's done, I'll show you how to tack the overcast of the bottom.
платье.
Have a look at the tacked dress.
Далее.
I've tacked the waistline,
Вырезали.
the tucks, the darts, the side and the shoulder seams.
Сейчас я хочу сделать
Next, I'll show you how to tack the overcast of the bottom.
низа и
I can't wait to try the dress on.
на себя.
I remind you that the width of the overcast is 20 centimeters.
Делаю. Ну, такая ширина по низу достаточно хорошая, сильно
The dress looks just like I wanted it to.
маленькая.
I didn't want it to be too loose
Я откладываю 20 сантиметров по линии низа.
or too tight.
Вы все увидите.
First, I need to measure and mark 20 centimeters up from the bottom.
Пока просто вот так вот. Примерно.
I remind you
Потому
that I'm taking the dress just for a fit-in. Fold the edge up to this line. I recommend you pinning the bottom.
Я просто подгибаю к этой линии 10 сантиметров, и у меня получается подгибка 10 сантиметров. Конечно, когда
The width of the folded detail is 10 centimeters.
новое, но можно будет подгибать низ, там все будет выверено, отмечено.
As I've said, after the fit-in, I'm going to remove the taking from the dress.
Точно. И
I'll take it for sewing once again.
отмечу.
I'll do it more accurately.
Еще раз подгибаю вот так вот и начинаю
Next, I need to fold the edge once again.
Я получаю подгибку 20.
When this detail is folded, it should be tacked.
Вот мои 10 сантиметров, 20
This is how I'm making 20 centimeter wide overcast.
на подгибку. Честно, если признаться, когда-то, лет 10 назад,
There are 3 layers of fabric in the overcast.
Краснодар пришел к нам.
It will make the dress very strong.
Широкие подгибки. Это у вас будет от кутюр.
This is a not couture dress.
Пошло. Это наш
I think that it will look absolutely amazing.
научил такие широкие подгибки делать. Итак, по всему
When I finish taking the overcast, I'll try the dress on.
10 сантиметров.
I folded the bottom for 10 centimeters twice.
Я сейчас
This is how the overcast should be made.
поняли и уже одела.
I'll finish taking it off the camera.
Радостный момент, наконец, я
Have a look at me.
одела. Немного я потратила время.
I'm wearing the tagged dress.
Очень красивый вырез, мне нравится.
Now you know that it doesn't take long to take it.
Сен-Лорана. Мне моё даже больше
The neckline is very beautiful.
нравятся вот эти защипы. Немного
The dress is absolutely amazing.
подреза у меня вот получилось длина.
I like the pleats, so I'm not going to gather the skirt.
Сейчас заколола. То есть
I made the skirt too low, so Natalie has pinned it this way.
ставлю эту, потому
This is how I want the dress to look like.
когда, во-первых, видны туфли, во-вторых, когда платье
I think that the length is perfect.
хорошо, когда
I didn't want it to be longer.
всегда.
The dress is suitable for the very special occasions.
Я готова идти на любое мероприятие. Сейчас девочки дошьют. Подкладка будет
I feel like a star wearing it.
и верх с такими же точно защипами.
The dress is going to be lined.
Готовое платье.
The lining will double all of the details.
Один рукав у меня приколот. Еще раз смотрите.
Have a close look at the dress once again.
Она, конечно, не
I really hope that you like the design.
а всегда будет вот
I remind you that it's made of the high quality fabrics.
такой бежевый низ, цветной верх, шелк.
I love the combination of fabrics.
Очень красивый.
I think that they look great together.
Такие платья на каком-то мероприятии
You can try combining different fabrics.
или ходить на работу. Это будет зависеть от вашего
Such dress, made of different fabrics,
Берите
might even be suitable for wearing it to work.
и
Be creative.
делать что-то свое. Не
I do not want you to make exactly the same dresses as I show you.
нужно взять те знания,
I just show you the techniques and designs.
ставьте лайк
I want it to be different and beautiful every day.
видео, заглядывайте в
That's all for today. My name is Paukshte Irina. Subscribe to my channel, write comments, share the videos, press the like and the bell buttons. I would really appreciate your support. Thank you. Goodbye.